All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from New Hampshire. Andrew Payne, Cody Burke on the front row. Austin Edwards, Mark Dantuma on the second row. Stephen Hoffman, Rodrigo Moctezuma on the third row. Curtis Mitchell, Patrick Pieper, Nicholas Johnson, David Lux round out the top 20. Edmund Jones starting in 11th next to J.J. Ringo in 12th. Jesse Gordon in 13th. Alex Harper in 14th. Dave Mayberry in 15th. Tyler Thomas in 16th. Joshua Rudolph, Richie Ragsdale, David Farnan, Chad Ragsdale round out the top 20. Matt Morrison starting in 21st next to Richie Joplin in 22nd. Ryan McDaniel, a good qualifying effort in 23rd. Mark Kluge in 24th. Brian Hewitt 25th. Scott Roney in 26th. Jeremy Davis, Richard Craig, and Thomas Myers, Jeremy Queener round out the top 30. Gerald Poole starting in 31st, John Wyatt 32nd, a surprising 33rd for AJ Godsey, Keith Patty in 34th, Ryan Caldwell 35th, Devin McDonald in 36th, Malachi Martin in 37th, Brandon Anderson 38th, Tim St. Jean, Lynn Marble, Nick Ringo, and Joe Lux round out the field. Austin Ruskoff is in race control. Richie Joplin not confident about making it to the end. And good evening, Will. Will Purnell cheering on Curtis Mitchell here tonight. Folks, if you have a favorite driver, don't forget to drop into the comments. Let us know who you're cheering for. A lot of your favorite drivers do listen in. Love knowing their fans are in the stands. All right, everybody heads out for the pace laps. A 40-car field. Around the 1 mile, and a caution has been thrown. If we get a chance, we'll ask race control here in a bit what this caution is for. They should go green next time by, but while we're waiting, 100 laps here tonight. The drivers are looking at 33 to 36 laps on a tank of fuel. So they can split this race. Looks like the caution is for debris on the track. But it looks like we may be going green here. Pace car is in. And the green flag flies. They are underway from New Hampshire. And the Dominator already trying to take the lead. Andrew Payne has it as they go through 1 and 2. Burke has the advantage outside coming out of 2. Austin Edwards lurking behind. Malachi Martin has had a problem behind. No caution yet. Likely spun out of the turn. Pretty common here on cold tires. Let's see if we can get a look. All right, looking at Malachi, they were 3 wide already, just ahead of him. And loose out of turn 2, about what is normal. And the caution is out. JJ Ringo, David Luck's involved. Let's see what happened. All right, looking at JJ Ringo up on the high side. Coming out of turn 2, Ringo gets big loose. Oh, and he turns Lux into the wall. Take a look from the chopper. There were multiple close calls in that incident. Whoa! Jesse Gordon, wow. See if we can dial up Jesse Gordon's in-car camera. There he goes through 1 and 2, and the car about to get loose is right above him. Hard on the brakes, there comes Lux. That was some skill. Hey, thank you, CJ. I appreciate it. That really helps, buddy. And getting told to check another one. All right, keep an eye on Patrick Pieper and Curtis Mitchell. There's Pieper on the outside, Curtis to the inside. Curtis slides up. Looks like a close call, but everybody made it. As the field prepares to go back green flag racing, seems like a really good time to get a little bit loud. Now when the pace car drops in, I'm going to shut up, let you guys crank it up and listen to the power. All right, pace car is in, and the green flag flies. Crank it up, y'all. Cody Burke takes the lead and just set the fastest lap. Austin Edwards currently in second. Whoa. Looked like Andrew Payne got a little bit loose out of turn 2, held on to it. And we've got a couple of problems back behind, no caution yet. Malachi Martin and Ryan Caldwell have both had problems. All right, watching Malachi as he comes down the backstretch. Oh, he gets in too deep, almost bumps into the car ahead, locks up the brakes and holds on to it. Then a few moments later, Ryan Caldwell coming through 1 and 2. And we talked about it earlier. Loose out of 2 is a big problem here. And the caution is back out. Looks like multiple drivers involved, including the rookie Rodrigo Moctezuma. There's Rodrigo on the inside in the green car as they go off into turn 1. He drifts into the car up ahead. Almost gets him straightened out, And look like this thing, there's Jeremy Davis with a problem on the front stretch. Watching Matt Morrison, he's back behind. As he comes out of turn 2, there are the cars, and wow, Jesse Gordon caught up. Several drivers get caught up, wow. And multiple close calls. Wow, this has been a wild start to a race in New Hampshire. And everybody from about 23rd on back is on pit road. And the rookie Rodrigo Moctezuma is showing a black flag. Cody Burke, Austin Edwards, Andrew Payne, Patrick Pieper, Mark Dantuma, the top 5. Curtis Mitchell, Nicholas Johnson, Edmund Jones, Alex Harper, and Chad Ragsdale round out the top 10. Ragsdale now up 10 spots. Scott Roney up 14 spots into 12th. Ryan McDaniel up 10 spots into 13th. Richard Cragen up 14 spots into 14th. Brian Hewitt up 10 spots into 15th. Several more cars chose to stay out and gain some track position. All right, lights are out. Pace car about to drop back in. Well, it's definitely been an eventful start. How will the rest of this one go? Pace car is in, and the green flag flies again. Burke once again nails the restart. Austin Edwards right on his bumper through 1 and 2. Normally, as we mentioned during pre-race, normally flat tracks are known for being single groove. New Hampshire, due to having progressive banking, has multiple lines through both ends of the track. And every driver out here will use whatever line. They are 3 wide with Curtis on the outside out of 4. Curtis battling with Mark Dantuma for 5th. Dantuma clears. Now Curtis has Edmund looking underneath. Nicholas Johnson there on the outside trying to fight. Oh! Curtis went way too deep into turn 3, slid up to the wall. Managed to keep it out of the wall and gets it going. And held on to the position. A lot of side-by-side back through the pack. Everybody trying to recover from the early incidents. And the leaders are already into lap traffic. Richie Ragsdale at the tail end of the lead lap, just ahead of the Dominator. Austin still right there with them, as is Andrew Payne. Patrick Pieper a couple of car lengths back. Dan Tuma still holding on to 5th. Curtis in 6th. A lot of the field is now gone single file. Gerald Poole now 12 spots into 19th. Nick Ringo battling with Ryan McDaniel. Nick continuing to move forward. Roll! Nick came up too soon into Ryan. Caution is out. I think Gerald may have gotten a piece of it. And let's take a look at that incident. Looking down from the chopper. There's Nick Ringo. Looks to the inside on Ryan as they go through 1 and 2. Goes deep, pushes out just a little bit. Thought he had cleared Ryan, comes up into Ryan's nose. Ryan bounces off the wall to the infield. Nick keeps going. And we've got cars coming in, including the GOAT, Austin Edwards. Mark the Man, Dan Tuma. Last week's winner, Nicholas Johnson, is in. Scott Roney, Nick Ringo, both in, as well as JJ Ringo, David Farnan, and Mark Kluge. Ryan McDaniel. Ryan is showing a black flag as well. It's looking like fuel only on the vast majority of these stops. Several drivers are picking up some repairs and a couple are taking tires. We mentioned the fuel window, about 33 to 36 laps. However, the caution laps will extend that run. So these guys up front holding on for as long as possible. Just waiting for that one well-timed caution. Richie Ragsdale did manage to hold on to the lead lap. He'll get caught back up to the pack and be back into the fight. Lights are out on the pace car. Everybody stacks up. The Dominator will be in control on the restart. All right, here they come. Out of turn 4, pace car dives to pit road. And the green flag flies again in New Hampshire. And it looks like there may have been a problem at the back of the pack as several drivers caught up. They were 3 wide at the start-finish line. Cody Burke clears traffic out of 2. Andrew Payne in 2nd. Patrick Pieper now into 3rd. Curtis Mitchell in 4th. Don't look now. Alex Harper up to 5th. Oh, I think Curtis may have given the wall a little kiss. Jeremy Davis is on his way back on track after extended repairs. And the caution is out for the rookie Rodrigo Moctezuma, Mark Dantuma, and David Lux. All right, watching from the chopper as they go up into turn one. Oh, a bit of a checkup. Dantuma gets hit. And in the process of trying to avoid it, Rodrigo gets caught up. Keeping an eye on Dantuma. David Lux just gets in a little deep, pushes up into Mark. Minimal damage to everybody, though. Thankfully, everybody keeps it out of the wall. And looks like Cody Burke, Andrew Payne, pretty much the entire top 10 is going to continue to stay out. Also, a driver we mentioned during pre-race to keep an eye on here tonight. The 5-car of AJ Godsey. This is definitely his kind of track. Did not have a good qualifying effort, but he has made it up to 11th. Last season, Cody Burke had well over 20 wins. Just barely lost at Daytona last week. Nicholas Johnson got him by a couple hundredths of a second. It was a heck of a battle and a heck of a win for Nicholas. Cody Burke is looking to get back to victory lane tonight. All right, lights are out. They are stacked back up for the restart. Quite a few cars in the back half of the field came in topped off on fuel. Will that strategy pay off? We've seen it pay off for our fearless leader, Austin Ruskoff, in the past. Will it work tonight? Giving up that track position for the extra fuel. Pace car is in, and the green flag flies again. Cody quickly shoots out front. Patrick Pieper now battling for second. And don't look now, Alex Harper on the attack on the bottom under Curtis. Down the back straightaway into turn 3, Curtis fighting back up top. Chad Ragsdale now up in the mix as well. Chad did not have a good qualifying run, started in 20th, now up into 6th. Another one that could sneak his way to the front at any moment. And the caution is out for Matt Morrison. All right, keeping an eye on Matt Morrison. They come out of turn 2. Matt gets big loose. Wow, Nicholas Johnson had a pucker moment there. Looked like Ryan McDaniel also had a problem out of turn 2. Let's see it from the chopper. There comes Ryan out of turn 2, gets loose as well. Both drivers get the inside wall. And Cody Burke is bringing them in. Patrick Pieper, Curtis Mitchell, Edmund Jones, Alex Harper, Tyler Thomas, Nicholas Johnson, Jeremy, about half the field, better than half the field are in. Andrew Payne takes the lead for the first time. And double checking my notes, I do believe this is Andrew Payne's first time leading in SMR. Chad Ragsdale now in second, Richard Cragen into third, AJ Godsey in fourth, Richie Joplin in fifth. Richie predicted to be out early, caught up in a wreck. So far, so good. Brian Hewitt, Gerald Poole, Thomas Myers, John Wyatt, and Ryan Caldwell round out the top 10. All right, here they come through 3 and 4. Pace car will dip in this time. And the green flag flies again. Andrew Payne away like a bullet. Everybody sends it down into 1 and 2, 3 wide mid-pack as Cody Burke is shooting up through there. Everybody's going to make it out of turn 2 this time. And a big shakeup with that cycle of pit stops. Whoa, Pieper's around out of 4. Into the wall, caution! Not sure if Pieper got a bump or got loose. Let's find out. All right, there's Patrick in the middle. The car below pushes up into Pieper. Wow. He gets caught up in a pile up there. Let's take a look down from the chopper. I believe that's John Wyatt under, and you see Austin Edwards trying to go 4 wide. Pieper gets loose, goes down to the inside. Mark Dantuma gets caught up. Several drivers narrowly miss it. AJ Godsey is now up into third. Cody Burke back in the top 10 and 10th. Richard Cragen is coming in. He'll be the only car in the top 10 coming in. I was not surprised to see Austin Edwards on the bottom, 4 wide. If anybody can do it, Austin can do it. AJ Gotze currently the biggest mover in the field, up 30 spots. However, Brian Hewitt in 4th, up 21 spots. We've been talking about it for a while now. We're going to see Hewitt in victory lane any day. Gerald Poole up 25 spots into 6th. Thomas Myers up 22 spots into 7th. Ryan Caldwell up 27 spots into 8th. Curtis Mitchell is still safe for now. Looks like Curtis did pick up a speeding penalty earlier on pit road, and he says that has saved him from that last wreck. All right, here they come down the back straightaway. Andrew Payne still out front. Chad Ragsdale on the high side. John Wyatt may have had a problem a moment ago. Looks like he's got it figured out. The green flag flies again. Andrew Payne away like a bullet once again. Oh, close call for Hewitt in 1 and 2, battling with Richie Joplin. Hewitt pulls out. Thomas Myers is loose. Did he get a bump from Malachi? Holy cow, Thomas saved it. They were brief. Now Richie Ragsdale's around. And now the caution is out. Wow, what a save by Thomas. Gonna see if we can, before we look at that incident, all right. Watch Thomas Myers there on in the burgundy car just ahead of Malachi. And, oh, Malachi just goes a little deeper in. Thomas sideways, almost saves it, gets a little bit loose again. And there's Richie Ragsdale getting loose. Curtis Mitchell barely avoids it. See if we can get a look at Richie Ragsdale. There's Richie as he comes into 3 and 4. Looks like he's already been bumped once or twice. Gets another bit of a love tap and then another. Man, everybody got into Richie's bumper. Pulls a 360, keeps going, great recovery. And some would say Curtis Mitchell missed that incident. Unfortunately, we don't have Richie Ragsdale available to talk to, but man, talk about a recovery and a great save. And you never should let it go. Curtis missed it, Mitchell. As somehow he misses the majority of wrecks. Chad Ragsdale, AJ Godsey, Brian Hewitt, Richie Joplin, Ryan Caldwell, your top 5. Gerald Poole, JJ Ringo, Cody Burke, Austin Edwards, Malachi Martin, your top 10. Lights are out on the pace car as they stack back up. All right, here they come through 3 and 4. Pace car dives to pit road. Chad Ragsdale in control. He chooses the outside line for the restart and is away. Green flag back in the air. And Richie Joplin is showing a black flag on the restart. Does look like it was a glitch. The admins have taken care of it. Back behind, we have already got some 3 wide. Patrick Pieper on the move up the middle. Right behind Tim St. Jean. Richie Ragsdale also just shot up the middle, picking up several spots. Chad Ragsdale out front, AJ in second. Richie Joplin in third, Brian Hewitt in fourth, and Cody Burke now in fifth, looking under Hewitt. And the caution is out, a big wreck on the backstretch. Malachi Martin, Tyler Thomas, Rodrigo Montezuma, Dave Mayberry, all involved. Looks like a few others as well. Let's see what happened. There's Malachi on the outside. Loose out of 2, gets into Nicholas Johnson, bounces back up, and several cars collected. Taking a look from the chopper, I thought I saw David Lux's hood flying. Malachi just gets loose. Nicholas gets the bounce but saves it. Wow. Chad Ragsdale, Curtis Mitchell, both on pit road. David Lux, Edmund Jones, Chad Ragsdale, Mark Dantuma, the back half of the field, all in. Rodrigo Montezuma trying to fight his way back to the lead lap. Unlike Curtis, he can't avoid anything. Richie Joplin now has the lead. Cody Burke in second. Brian Hewitt in third. JJ Ringo in fourth. Austin Edwards in fifth. Gerald Poole, Jeremy Queener, David Farnan, Andrew Payne, and Richard Cragen round out the top 10. Andrew Payne quietly working his way back toward the front. Richard Cragen, no surprise to see him now in the top 10. Didn't have a good qualifying effort, but he's making up for it under green. All right, Richie Joplin on the inside, in control on the restart. Hey, good evening, Carl. How are you? All right, pace car dives to pit road. Richie in control. He fires. Green flag flies. Richie is away. JJ Ringo was caught up in that earlier incident. He's got that car back in shape. Battling for third. Mark Kluge has had a problem. No caution yet as Burke looks for the lead. Brandon Anderson is also, whoa, close call for the leaders. Everybody's still rolling and pointed the right way for the moment. And let's take a look at that. Whoa, wait a minute. They were briefly 3 wide as JJ Ringo and Austin Edwards just shot past Richie Joplin. And let's see what happened to Mark. All right, Mark Kluge coming down towards, oh! Ragsdale just gets a run. Bumps Mark into turn 1. Then a moment later, Brandon Anderson coming through 3 and 4. He was loose on entry. Had a nice drift going. Gets it gathered up just before the leaders get there. And the caution is back out. It looks like Gerald Poole, Jesse Gordon, Brandon Anderson, Joshua Rudolph involved. Jeremy Queener may have been as well. All right, there's Gerald in the 9 car in the middle as he comes out of 4. Oh, just came down and oh! Wow, they kept wrecking. Let's watch this from the chopper. Looks like a separate incident, and Rudolph pulls over. And as they were trying, Jesse Gordon gets yeeted. See if we can get a different view of Jesse Gordon getting yeeted here. There's Jesse in the Batmobile, and there comes the unexpected car into his side, sending him airborne. All right, it sounds like All right, let's watch the onboard of Curtis Mitchell. Looks like he missed it again. There you see the bump, and holy cow. Wow. If Curtis didn't have that nickname, he did everything. Well, that was not a small incident. Miracle that as many cars survived that as they did. And here we go. Pace car is back in. Burke in control. Green flag once again. Austin Edwards gets a jump behind Cody. Now battles for second. J.J. Ringo sends it deep through 1 and 2. Oh, Peepers in the wall hard. Several cars around. Caution. And let's see what sent Peeper to the wall and apparently collected a lot of other cars. All right, there's Patrick. Oh, Curtis gets a bit of a run right into Peeper's bumper. Peeper gets AJ. Ryan Caldwell ended up going around as well. I think Thomas Myers also got collected. Ryan right there behind Thomas as they come out of 2. Wow. And a lot of drivers somehow managed to get through the middle of that unscathed. CJ, I'm sure it will, buddy. New Hampshire has a tendency to, if it gets the first 10 laps green, you're likely to see the whole race go green to checkers. But if the first 10 laps are rough, it takes a bit to get everybody settled down. And you know right now there's likely some tempers flaring as well. I believe that was Rodrigo getting one of his, yes it is, Rodrigo Moctezuma, one of the rookies here tonight, getting one of his laps back. I believe that's going to leave him 1 lap down. He's definitely one we'll keep an eye on this season. Cody Burke, Austin Edwards, this is the battle we were talking about all winter long. Looking forward to seeing the back and forth between these two this season. They have the front row right now. Cody has the advantage down to the inside. All right, the Dominator leads them out of turn 4. Pace car dives in. And the green flag flies again. Cody Burke leads them down into turn 1, side by side, right behind him. David Farnan, we mentioned a little bit ago, expect to see him crawling his way forward. He has now quietly made his way up into 4th. As we go off in turn 3, almost had a 3-wide battle there. Now we do. Gerald up the middle. Alex pulls ahead on that one. JJ Ringo in third, David Farnan in fourth. Last week's winner, Nicholas Johnson, currently in sixth. And he is looking for fifth. David Lux also making his way to seventh. Richie Ragsdale in eighth. Tim St. Jean now up in the ninth. Austin Edwards still right there with Cody. JJ Ringo losing a bit of ground. Nicholas Johnson has just moved into fifth. And John Wyatt has had a problem back behind. Wyatt has towed it in. Let's see what happened. There's John coming through 1 and 2. Gets loose out of turn 2 and nose first into the wall. Caution is back out. Thomas Myers involved. Let's take a look at the replay. Thomas there in that burgundy car on the bottom. Oh, he tried to get up to set up for the turn into turn 1, but gets into the car above. I'm guessing Thomas didn't realize he was there. Goes up, gets into him, and they both end up in the turn 1 wall. Cody Burke, Austin Edwards, JJ Ringo, David Farnan, Tyler Thomas, Matt Morrison, Chad Ragsdale, over half the field in this time. They can go 33 to 36 laps on a tank of fuel. From here, it'll only take a couple of cautions to make it to the end. And it looks like the vast majority doing 4 tire changes. Richard Cragen now in second. David Lux, Richie Ragsdale, Malachi Martin round out the top 5 with Nicholas Johnson in front. The lights are out on the pace car. Everybody getting stacked up. A few drivers just coming off pit road. And Rodrigo Moctezuma did get the wave around. He's back on the lead lap. Here we go. Nicholas Johnson in control. The green flag flies again. David Lutz peeking underneath for second. Nicholas Johnson clears quickly into the lead. Richie Ragsdale now in fourth. And a lot of battling back behind. Curtis Mitchell sending it deep into three. Oh, and a little bit of a blink for Curtis. And three wide right behind. Whoa, Burke was sideways. Man, what the heck? Looked like JJ Ringo got bumped around. Let's take a look at this from the chopper. This affected multiple cars. There's Ringo on the bottom, Austin Edwards in the middle, Gerald Poole on the high side, Cody Burke coming up the middle. Burke bounces off the car on the high side, gets into Ringo, and wow, that could have been a lot worse. And the caution is back out. Looks like AJ Gotze involved. AJ there on the high side next to Ryan Caldwell into turn three. Looks like Caldwell got loose, just barely clips AJ, but it's enough AJ can't save it. I have to say, I'm a bit shocked to see AJ struggling tonight. Austin Edwards was in the middle of that. He made his way up to 7th. Curtis Mitchell in 8th. Cody Burke managed to save it and move up to 14th. Jeremy Queener caught up in it. Seems like we've seen Jeremy in just about every incident tonight. Seems like he can't avoid anything. Nicholas Johnson still holding the lead. Richard Cragen in 2nd. Richie Ragsdale, Brian Hewitt, David Lutz, your top 5. Alex Harper, Austin Edwards, Curtis Mitchell, Malachi Martin, and Richie Joplin round out the top 10. And it looks like everybody from Mark Kluge in 22nd on back came in. Lights go out on the pace car. They begin to stack back up for the restart. Nicholas Johnson choosing to restart on the high side tonight. Surprisingly, only the 2nd time we have seen somebody choose the outside. This is a track, a lot of times you'll see drivers take that outside line. It has multiple advantages on the restart. All right, pace car dives in. Nicholas in control. The green flag flies again. Nicholas quickly clears. Cragen getting a push down into turn one. Malachi Martin back up in the fight. Cody Burke up the middle. Cody Burke now back into the top 10. Curtis Mitchell, Austin Edwards battling. Nobody can get an advantage here. Just due to the traffic ahead, multiple battles going on as Brian Hewitt's going for the lead. Caution! Gerald Poole, Malachi Martin involved. Let's see what happened. Malachi, another driver, hasn't been able to avoid anything tonight. Oh, he gets a bump as they go off into one. And when he gets bumped back up, he slides up into Gerald. Nicholas Johnson in the lead, but how about Brian Hewitt now in second? We talked about it late in 2025, the dramatic improvement Brian has had across all the leagues he races in. Hewitt has definitely got something figured out. He's going to take the lead. As a lot of drivers go in behind, Brian Hewitt's going to pick up some points for leading tonight. Austin Edwards now in second, Cody Burke in third, David Farnan in fourth, Chad Ragsdale in fifth, Tyler Thomas, Matt Morrison, Scott Roney, AJ Godsey, and Devin McDonald round out the top 10. Haven't heard much from Devin here tonight, but when it counts, here he is. Brian out front, but he does have his hands full. Hopefully he chooses the outside line to take advantage here tonight. And it does look like he is going to choose that outside line. Does make it easier for the leader. The car to the inside, it is much, much harder to see when the leader fires. Plus, you already have the advantage as you go into turn one. You're a nose ahead. Likely going to get clear into the lead and be perfectly positioned for entry into one. All right, Brian Hewitt in control of the restart. Pace car dives back in. The green flag flies again. Hewitt is away. David Farnan now battling with Burke for third. Burke clears. Austin Edwards reeling in Hewitt. Chad Ragsdale battling back behind as Farnan is slipping back. Tyler Thomas has been quiet all night, now up into sixth. And man, look at the battle just outside the top 10. as Austin Edwards is going to take the lead for the first time tonight. And Hewitt's in trouble. Caution is out. There's a mess on the backstretch. Brian Hewitt, AJ Gonsi, Scott Roney, all involved, as well as JJ Ringo, Dave Mayberry, Mark Kluge, AJ Gonsi, and Brian Hewitt have both had to tow to pit road. All right, let's look at this from the chopper. Hewitt a little bit loose getting into one, allowing Austin to get by Cody to set up to the inside. He gets loose, bounces off Cody. Several cars go to the infield, but man, look at the stack up behind. Watching AJ Gonsi, who had made his way back up into the fight. AJ just had nowhere to go. Nicholas Johnson has been disqualified for incident points. And he came into tonight with the points lead. That's going to be a setback. So Austin Edwards, Cody Burke on the front row. Chad Ragsdale, David Farn, and Devin McDonald round out the top five. Curtis Mitchell, Tim St. Jean, Alex Harper, Richie Ragsdale, and David Lux rounding out the top 10. Stephen Hoffman now in 11th. Mark Dantuma has finally worked his way back up to 12th. Mark Kluge, who seems to get caught in everything, has still made his way to 13th. Austin Edwards choosing that high line for the restart. Cody Burke on the inside. The pace car dives in. Austin in control. And the green flag flies with 22 to go. And it is a drag race toward turn one. Cody Burke stays even, pulls the nose ahead. They are 3 wide, right behind. Wow, and it got bumpy. 2 cars in the wall, and the caution is out. Let's see if we can see what happened. All right, keep an eye on Devin McDonald down the bottom. Devin slides up into Farnan. Curtis gets down to the bottom. And Devin just comes up into Farnan. They both end up in the wall. And they both try and keep going. They made it to turn 3. And everybody gets by safely. Curtis Mitchell missed it again. Really wish he'd share some of that luck with the rest of us. Folks, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. The World Class Short Track Series is back tomorrow night. And we have a lot of racing to go this week, including C12 Motorsports 87's Wednesday night. Not to mention Tuesday night, the Unicorn will be playing Mafia again. That's entertaining, trust me. And likely she's going to be convoying tomorrow. Plus, you can check out all of our YouTube shorts. We put out 10 to 12 shorts every day. Go check them out. And it looks like Curtis Mitchell got the EOL for that. There was some contact there. That has sent him back to 21st. The Dominator chooses the inside line. The pace car dives in. Here they come. Green flag flies. 17 to go. And once again, a drag race into turn 1. And whoa, Austin really sends it. And they're even at a 2. Cody trying to get the side draft just a little bit on the backstretch. Chad Ragsdale closing in. Alex Harper back up into the fight. David Lux currently runs in 5th. And still side by side for the lead, and interestingly, as you see from the chopper, they're pulling away. The downside to both these drivers doing this is they are going to use their tires up just a little bit more with 15 to go. If you're going to use them, now's the time. Chad Ragsdale still holding on to 3rd. Alex Harper in 4th. David Lux in 5th. Stephen Hoffman now up into 6th. Richie Ragsdale has made his way back to 7th. Mark Dantuma currently running in 8th. Tim St. Jean in 9th. Jeremy Queener in 10th. You gotta hand it to Queener. He's been caught up in almost every incident. Has kept fighting back. Still the battle is on for the lead. Austin Edwards able to gain a little ground up top. Gets the better run out of the turn. But Cody Burke just keeps fighting back on the inside. And it sounds like Gerald Poole's race may be over. Tyler Thomas's race also over, as is David Farnan's for too many incidents. And Malachi Martin is showing a black flag at the moment. And he might be in trouble. The leader, the battle for the lead is right behind him. This may very well come down to where Malachi goes. Malachi to the bottom, all the way to the apron, but he did hold Cody up. Cody didn't care. He goes to the lead. Austin goes for the crossover. Austin Edwards now to oh, they have contact. Austin gets sideways, saves it. Cody gets bumped up the track, but saves it. Cody to the lead. Alex Harper now in fourth. Stephen Hoffman in fifth. David Lux now in sixth. Mark D'Antuma in eighth. Trying to move up. The rest of the group from ninth on back appears to be losing some ground. Whoa, Chad Ragsdale was big loose out of two. Alex Harper may get the run here through 3 and 4. Stephen Hoffman right behind. Ragsdale holds on to it. Hoffman started to peek to the inside on Harper, went too wide. David Lutz gets underneath. And whoa! I'm not sure if Austin is bumping Cody or what is going on there, but Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. Is towed it in, no caution. There's Ryan coming through 1 and 2, trying to make some ground up. And we've seen it multiple times tonight. Loose out of 2 and a hard hit to the inside. Austin has a run to the inside. They have contact. Holy crap, these two are throwing body panels. They are bumping and door banging. Man, there ain't going to be much left of these two cars when it's all said and done. They are putting on a show. Cody has the lead. Austin right on his bumper. The Dominator versus the GOAT. Alex Harper is now up into third. They're battling 2 seconds ahead. Can he get there if these two get side by side again? 5 laps to go. Lap traffic's going to come into play. Austin gets a big run out of 2 up top. And Cody shuts him down. Chad Ragsdale loose out of 2 again. He slipped back to 5th, just trying to hold on. Four laps to go. Austin trying to set up a run here. The first lap car drops to the apron, lets the leaders by. That is great sportsmanship from the drivers. Three laps to go at New Hampshire. Brandon Anderson is taking it to pit road. And great sportsmanship by Brandon, dropping to the apron to let the leaders by. Now what will happen with the next couple of cars? Looks like Malachi will be the only one to come into play. And here we go. 2 laps to go at New Hampshire. 1 lap car for the leaders to get by. Burke out front. Austin on his bumper. Malachi stays up top as they go into 3 and 4. They get clear, and Austin has a run. A little contact out of 4. Cody holds on to it. White flag one more time around. Man, we saw him after that last restart. Both of them throwing doors and bumpers at each other. This last lap is going to get wild. Cody a little bit loose out of 2. Gave Austin a little opening. Austin Edwards to the lead. And out of turn 4, Austin wins at New Hampshire. And Cody, the Dominator Burke, comes home in second. And wow, what a finish. Alex Harper did manage to come home in third. Stephen Hoffman in fourth. Chad Ragsdale held on to fifth. Great save on his part. That car at last 10 laps was sideways half the time. And we'll get a word with our top 3 here in just a moment. Folks, don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, the World Class Short Track Series is back. And don't forget to go watch all the videos on YouTube as well. And let's get a word with our top 3, starting with Alex.
Dang, that guy just pitted.
Alex, man, you had an eventful night, but managed to come home in third. That was definitely a wild one.
Yeah, it was brutal, but happy to have that faster pair for sure. Got caught up in one of them wrecks, but thankful for that for sure.
Well, man, it definitely helped, but you managed to fight your way back that last 10, 15 laps. That was a brutal fight, but you managed to get by.
Yeah, it was fun. I felt like I was a little quicker than Chad, but I didn't know what his tire situation was, so I was just kind of, trying to force him into a mistake. But, yeah, I'm happy with third after last week for sure.
I definitely think Chad's tire situation was sideways for the last 10 laps a lot, but man, great job, great wreck avoidance, and a great finish. Congrats.
Thanks, Scott, or Doug. Jeez, I want to give Roney a shout out. He said he wanted to get an interview because he got 10th.
Great job, Scott Roney. Congrats, buddy.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Cody Burke comes home in second. Cody, I don't know that we have ever seen you get that aggressive. That last 15 laps was quite a show.
Yeah, it was a fun one. I made a few mistakes there trying to run the bottom. Really killed my right front tire. But and then there with a lap to go or 2 laps to go, I made a bad decision. I think with the lap car, I wish he would have given me the top. But I drove it in a little too far there on the bottom, and Austin got a run on me, and I was overdriving it after that.
I have to say, you and Austin battling, especially from about 15 to go to about, I don't know, 8 to go, you were both throwing bumpers and body panels like we've never seen. Both of you holding on to it. There's a couple of close calls there. Man, it was a heck of a battle and a heck of a show.
Yeah, it got aggressive, but going for the win, it should. We didn't wreck each other, didn't run each other into the wall, so little bumper here and there, it's all good.
Well, man, a heck of a showing tonight. I do believe you'll move into the points lead as well. Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
And finally, our winner, Austin Edwards. You know, Austin, I've been waiting for months to see the GOAT versus the Dominator. You did not disappoint tonight.
Doug, one thing I can tell you for sure is if we're going to be racing like this every week, I got to hit the gym. I am winded after that.
I can only imagine, buddy. That was a heck of a show. I was just talking to Cody. Man, that last 15 laps, you guys were throwing body panels, bumpers, everything at each other.
Yeah, you know, Doug, that's something that I feel like is going to happen at this track. Just because on a flat track, no banking, you're bound to slide into people. And you saw the line we were running. We were sliding up in the center and cutting back down off the exit of the corner. But no, I got mad respect for Cody after that. I was talking to him just a little bit before we hopped in the broadcast booth here. And it's not every day you can race someone like that, bumping and banging and tearing doors off and still be cool about it after the race. So, or couple things I probably could have done that could have been a little cleaner, but when you're throwing Hail Marys in the last 10 laps, there's really not much else you can do. So there's a situation where he blown off his right front, I blown off my right rear, and we were just doing everything we could to get to the win there, but pulled a bump and run into turn one, and that was just enough to get it done. So glad we could finish 1 and 2, and hopefully we can have more fun racing like that and maybe keep the body panels a little cleaner next time.
No, do not keep the body panels cleaner. You go to Motegi next week, and we want to see that again. That was epic, man. Great job, a great win. Like I said, I've been looking forward to the GOAT versus the Dominator for a while. It's made my week, buddy. Great job.
Thanks, Doug. Much more to come.
Austin Edwards gets the win. Hey, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, buddy. Man, what a finish that turned out to be. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, the World Class Short Track Series is back. And we've got a week full of racing, mafia, trucking, and all sorts of other chaos. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. This race will be on YouTube at 4K later tonight. Folks, I'm out of breath after that last 15 laps. Thank you guys so much for being here. Joe, thank you so much for the raid. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.